over the last year, I've been pushing here on Test Drive to just let people enjoy things when it comes to cars. But unfortunately, we have a car here today that most people are just going to poo-poo on because it isn't the best of the best. Our spotlight is on this 2019 Chevrolet Camaro 1LT with the 1LE track package. That's right, it has a 2-liter 4-cylinder engine producing 275 horsepower, 295 pound-feet of torque. The MSRP for this vehicle as tested comes in at $35,660 Canadian. Very affordable and pretty competent with that track package. But that's the thing, most people are going to poo on it because it's not the V8. And even more so, it's not even the V6. But I'm going to be going over absolutely everything about this car and telling you why you should just let people enjoy things and why this car is still a lot of fun with a four-banger. I had a crush on the Camaro, I won't lie, a couple of years ago. Okay, more than that, like more than a decade ago when I was in high school. I really wanted an 84, 86 kind of thing Camaro, and I would probably still buy it today. I mean, if I had lots of money and I didn't know what to do with it, then maybe I would. It's a pretty cool car, get the IROC Z, tons of fun. But let's talk about this one because people are buying it, people are going to be interested in this car. At least I hope so, right? General Motors seems to think so. They've put it on the fleet and they're selling it. There's 4 different engine options when it comes to the Camaro, this being the entry level one. And technically there is a trim below this if you wanted to. It doesn't change a whole lot. Basically it's like power passenger seat and teeny tiny small little things. The major difference with that base level trim is option wise. You're pretty much stuck with just the base model. Whereas if you go up to the 1LT like we have here, you can add on more things. However, because this has the 1LE performance package, you're pretty much stuck with this. You can't really add anything else to it because it comes like this. You can't add any other features. It will remove that 1LE package. Now it's a $5,195 option. It adds performance suspension components from the Camaro SS to enhance the front McPherson struts and the rear independent 5-link suspension. So you have a better track-oriented performance with this vehicle despite having the smaller engine. You also get Brembo 4-piston brakes up front. The brakes in the back stay the same. Heavy-duty cooling, including engine cooling, oil cooler, and dual outboard radiators, along with a rear diff cooler, and it also comes with a limited slip differential. Maybe not the most track-oriented tires on here. These are 20-inch black forged aluminum rims, but the setup is track-oriented. 245/40 ZR20s on the front and 275/35 ZR20s on the rear, and these are Goodyear Eagle F1 tires. So these are really grippy tires, good for on the track, and not bad on the road either because we're just taking this on the road. I don't have an opportunity to take it on a track this time, so we're going to be talking about how these tires and this whole setup works on the road. The 1LE package also adds a suede microfiber wrapped flat bottom steering wheel and shifter, as well as the smoked taillights from the back and the rest of the RS appearance package. So you get those smoked taillights, the matte black paint on the hood, as well as the front black splitter, black mirror caps, and the black spoiler on the back. So I think it's a pretty cool looking car. I mean, it's not as cool maybe as the SS, but still not a bad looking vehicle. And I'm telling you, people were checking this car out as we were driving along. And I mean, when it comes to the rest of the exterior styling, this is more of an evolution instead of a revolution over the previous generation. It does share a lot of the same lines and size, but it has gotten a lot more aggressive. I'd say that this looks a lot better than the previous generation, which sort of shared a little bit of a look to something like the Dodge Challenger. And when it comes to the inside, I mean, there is not a whole lot going on there. We complained about that when it came to the Golf GTI, that for $37,000 you didn't get much. Well, the same is true, I guess, for this. Is it going to be our complaint at the end? Probably not, because the competition that directly lines up with this is in line price-wise, and I feel that they have put some effort into this vehicle, especially with the suspension components. But when you jump inside, you have cloth seats. They do at least have power adjustment, which is a nice plus. It has a 7-inch infotainment system with Apple CarPlay, Android Auto, Sirius XM, and an HD backup camera. Excellent quality on that. You also have OnStar. We never talk about it. I don't usually crash the cars into a tree and need it, but that system is there. That's about it. You have a single zone climate control system, no heated seats, no heated steering wheel. The interior is essentially all plastic. It's not a very premium interior, but it does work. And the one thing I do notice about the infotainment, it's actually angled a little bit towards the floor, so it's a little hard to see. One package you can add onto this with this trim and the performance package is the tech package that would add an 8-inch screen and a 9-speaker Bose audio system over the 6-speaker system. But that's the thing, I mean, this isn't necessarily your daily driver. You certainly could live with it on a daily basis, and we'll talk about that on our driving segment. But people who are looking at this specific build might be looking at a weekend toy, something that they can cruise around with. Doesn't need to be overly performance, because let's be honest, on the street, something like this is more than enough. Anything more than that, you're really just wasting gas and potentially getting a ticket. So with this, it's pretty modest. Pricing is decent as well. So let's take this 2019 Camaro 1LE on the road, see how it handles, performs, and everything else that we can talk about when it comes to this $35,000 sports car. Well, I won't lie to you. I mean, it's hard to. I never do, but I mean, like, the car here is pretty tight on the inside. Part of it's because I'm a big guy, right? There's no doubt about that. I mean, I've been in some pretty small cars before, and I gotta say, this is probably the tightest. I mean, especially compared to something else. I know it doesn't really compare directly to it, but like when we did the Dodge Charger about a year ago now, you know, V6, you know, pricing was more, but I mean, interior space was certainly a lot better than this. I mean, this is really tight, and visibility also is next to zero. I mean, the windshield is so small. The rear windshield, can you even call it that? I mean, it's like a slit in the back. Mirrors are teeny tiny. But that's kind of what the car is meant to be, right? You know, back in the day, these cars were difficult to live with, and that was the joy of owning them. I mean, should it still be the same thing in 2019? I guess it's going to be up to you. It actually is a very fun car to drive, and the two cars that we can think back to immediately, both in terms of price and sort of what you get out of it, is going to be the 2019 Golf GTI that we did and the 2019 Kia Stinger GT line that we did. This obviously has more power than both of those vehicles, but this is also a heavy car. I mean, it's not as functional. It's quite a bit less functional than something like the GTI was, but pricing is about the same. And I mean, if you want something that is enjoyable to drive, going to be fuel efficient, you can probably live with it on a daily basis and still have fun with it, this could be a good option for you. And here's why I say that. You can really get this vehicle a lot less than the 35 and a bit that we've configured it at. But because GM's put the 1LE package on here, we've got the extra track package. You have the Brembo brakes, you have the suede microfiber shifter, and steering wheel actually feels really nice when you're holding it. Firm feel to it, good grip. Overall, I mean, it's a fun little car. Is it going to be as quick as something like the V6 or the V8s that they offer? Definitely not. But if you want to have some fun with it, you can definitely do that. And we're going to go through our little turn here. It's early in the morning. It's a nice time to be doing this. I mean, the car will handle very, very well. It's nice, right? I mean, it has pull, especially for a 275 horsepower inline 4, and it's not a huge engine. There's really nothing exciting coming out of the back. I'm not even going to bother filming it because I can tell you right now, there's nothing coming out of the back. I don't hear anything in here, and it's good. They're not faking anything, which is a nice change. You know, most manufacturers do like to fake the sounds, so it kind of sounds like you have more power than you really do, but I'm actually glad that they aren't faking it. You get kind of what you're paying for. And for me, it's refreshing, right? This car isn't the ultimate driving performance machine. Yeah, it's got the 1LE package, right? So you have that SS suspension setup, you have the Brembo brakes, the interior, you know, two little portions here, a little bit more sport oriented. But if you actually drive the car normally, it's still a lot of fun. That's what's good about the Camaro. I mean, you can get the 6-speed manual on any engine and pretty much any trim. And if you go for the 1LE track package, you really have to have the manual. You can't get it with the 8-speed in this particular case. But if you're just kind of using the car normally, it's fun. That's the whole point of it, right? I mean, people are either going to get this car or they're not. And people are probably still going to poo-poo you on getting the 2-liter. But take it to the track. Show them on the track that this car is capable. It's not something I can do today. I mean, even if I was able to, in terms of my schedule, I probably still wouldn't take this car on the track just because, I mean, as of filming this, I've had it for not even 24 hours, right? But the idea is if you get to learn the car and know how to perform it, you can probably chip it and tune it a little bit, get more power out of that engine. You can still have a lot of fun with it. And again, on a daily driving basis, if you wanted to have something that looks really cool, because I'm telling you, everybody's been checking this car out as I've been driving it by, and not necessarily spend a ton of money on it, it's a great option. I mean, 35 grand, that was our complaint when it came to the GTI, that it was just too much. And yeah, you get pretty much nothing for that price, right? There are no features on this car, but I find that it's okay because you're sort of expecting at this price point with this type of vehicle, and it works well. So we're gonna take it through our little turn here. Oh yeah, it hugs those corners really well. And it's bad too, just because the roads here are really rough. It's not ideal circumstances to be testing this car, but still fun, right? That's the whole point. You want to have something that's a little bit more exciting than your typical car. And if you're looking at the Camaro, you're already sort of looking in the performance department anyway. But it's good to have an option. With the different options you have, when it comes to the Camaro, buyers have more choice. We have 4 different engine options, this being the entry-level one, and there isn't anything wrong with it. But I'm not here to necessarily tell you that you should buy the 2-liter. I'm just saying that if you encounter somebody on your daily travels and they have one, you probably shouldn't poo-poo on them, right? Just let people enjoy things. That's our philosophy here now at Test Drive. And it's fun. I'm enjoying it. But if you really just want something, maybe a toy, right? You want something on the weekend, you want to enjoy it. It doesn't necessarily need to be performance-oriented, but you want to enjoy something on the weekend. Take something for a cruise that's new, it's got a warranty, you're not going to be blowing it up because it's got too much power, but you want a nice cruising vehicle that looks pretty damn good doing it, then this is a nice option for you. Fuel economy was really good during our week with the 2019 Camaro 1LE, coming in at 8.3 liters per 100 kilometers or 28 US miles per gallon on our 100 kilometer test loop, and 9.7 liters per 100 kilometers or 24.5 mpg during our week with it. Definitely a like in our books. The styling of the Camaro is also a like on our list, with its aggressive 1LE package being offered on all engine levels, giving buyers more choice. The option for a manual transmission is also a great thing for buyers who want to choose how they shift, and the overall ride was very good on this car considering how low it sits and how big those rims were. However, we couldn't help but notice the interior road noise, considering you should be able to hear how bad it was during our driving segment. Overall visibility was also pretty poor, with very little rear window space making it difficult to see out of. The downward angle of the infotainment system also threw us off, since we felt it was aimed towards the cup holders and not our eyes. But overall, the 2-liter Camaro was a fun little car. A bit less than the 2019 Volkswagen Rabbit GTI we had, and certainly a lot less practical, but it fit the bill for what a sports coupe should offer. I spoke with a lot of enthusiasts over the week, including a longtime Camaro owner who just made the upgrade from a V6 3LT to the V8 2SS, but was very excited that GM added this engine into the mix. While for me, this engine would likely be suited for the convertible, since most people would be looking at a cruising car instead of a track-oriented performance car with the 1LE package. If you want to have a sexy looking car with a warranty, a manual transmission, and some funky color choices, I'd highly recommend the 2-liter Camaro as a convertible over the coupe with the RS package. It's a bit more than this one, but if you want the wind in your hair and a spunky little engine with a manual to boot, it's a seriously good option.